Ladies and gentlemen, gamers, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be all about the new patch notes 1.3.1. This is a tuning update that just dropped for Umber Wasp about 40 minutes ago. By the time you guys see this, you'll be able to update your Steam clients and jump into the new patch. So we're going to have a bit of a new metagame for a month before the expansion in December, which is really exciting. I'm really looking forward to that. But let's go ahead and read these patch notes, taking it from the top. So this balance tuning update is meant to alleviate some issues stemming from the Umber Wasp update and to provide some minor tuning adjustments to multiplayer balance. This update also fixes an issue with frame rate locking to 30 frames per second. Here is a note on the goals of this update from Jason on our balance team. So let's go ahead and see what Jason has to say. We're aware of the ongoing issues related to DAC balance and heavy machine guns, and we're moving to address these issues. The fixes in this current patch are intended to alleviate the problem, but we're aware it will not fully solve them. Some of this work requires more systematic changes that we could not fit into the tuning update, but we hope to include it in future updates starting with 1.4.0 in December. That's Jason from the balance team. Now, I actually agree with this because if an expansion is coming in December, patch 1.4.0, that's going to have large fundamental and systematic changes, as he implied. That could be huge balance changes. That could be new units and battle groups. We don't know, but I assume it's going to be both. So with that just being 1 month away, you really want to adjust the balance and prepare the balance and set up the infrastructure for that expansion, for that update, rather than rolling out things right now that might not make sense in this current setup, this current structure of the game that we have. So I think that's totally fine, and I think it's smart. It's only 1 month away, so I'm really looking forward to that, and I'm happy we get an update to balance right now in the meantime. So let's go ahead and see what was fixed in the general category. Pacino Stalemate 1 vs 1 and Wetlands 4 vs 4 have had their auto match selection weight reset, so they no longer have a higher chance of appearing. Our team will continue experimenting with this weighting in the future to try to find the best balance as we showcase new maps. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I got to play Wetlands a lot more in that first week. I think weighting is a cool idea, especially because we don't have veto to maps right now. Okay, heavy machine guns. Ooh, this is going to be interesting. Crew health decreased from 90 to 80. Really interesting. I think this may seem like a small change, but it's actually a pretty big change when you consider grenades and the damage grenades do. Now, I believe there's a bug that still persists with grenades and MGs, so I'm curious to see how this holds up. But this is actually a pretty decent nerf. MG42 team suppression delta suppressed targets reduced from 0.35 to 0.3. Okay, that's fine. Vickers, Browning, and MG34 suppression delta suppressed targets reduced from 0.5 to 0.4. Wow, okay, so the Vickers, basically all the other MGs outside of the MG42 for Wehrmacht are getting a nerf to suppression. So suppressed targets reduced. So the MG42, ironically, is keeping its suppression rate. But the others, so these ones, so the Vickers, the M19, they deal a lot of damage, more than you would think. And they actually can suppress pretty quick. I mean, not as quick as the 42, but it looks like they want to take the direction of all the other MGs to suppress a little bit less, which is fine. It's not like a major nerf or anything like that. So that's interesting. HMG incremental accuracy standardized to 1.12. Okay, so interesting. Does that mean it's going to get... I don't know what it was standardized before. That's what makes it hard to really analyze this. I don't know. I don't know what this number was before. But it's just a standardization. They're standardizing a lot of different units. Infantry pin threshold increased from 0.5 to 0.65. Oh, okay. So the infantry pin threshold increased. This coincides with these changes up here. Okay. So it's just going to take a little bit longer. They do push a lot of damage still. I think that's fine. Wide arc machine gun arcs reduced from 125 to 110. Okay, so the wide arc is getting reduced as well. So I think the nerf to MGs is pretty good. It's not like game breaking for MGs. They're still going to be viable, but it is a hefty nerf. U.S. Forces Riflemen M1 Grand cooldown modifier when in close quarters is reduced from 0.2 to 0.15. Interesting. So it's not a massive change to Rifleman, but a close quarter reduction. Okay, M24 Chaffee Light Tank changes from 1.3 update reverted. What was the change in 1.3.0? Was it penetration? I think it was penetration. So that's, I believe it's penetration, and that would be reverted. Reload time decreased from 4 to 3.5. Interesting. So are these coming back? Chaffee's felt fine to me, but maybe they're going to be coming back in a stronger way. M8 Greyhound area effect model cap increased from 2 to 3. Yeah, so this was capped at 2. I think this was recently changed, wasn't it? I think that's a little bit that was a little bit harsh. A 2 cap. It really makes this unit a lot less effective. So this unit is going to be really, really strong at picking up, snipe shots or, getting really good shots on team weapons and so forth. The tracking speed of the turret increased by 33%. So this unit should get some more love. You know what I would like to see with the Greyhound is a little bit more utility for the unit. I think these are good changes to sort of increase its efficiency, its combat efficiency. But I would like to see a little more utility, like the ability to lay mines or some kind of, I don't know, intelligence-based ability or something to make it a little bit more interactive and give you a reason to really keep this unit throughout the game for it to scale. But I understand you don't want units that are super strong in the early and mid game to be also very effective in the late game. You want to have a separation and kind of a categorization of unit where it's not just overpowered throughout the entire game, but maybe something. I think mines is a good thing, but. Vermont Flak 30, 20 millimeter. Area of effect model cap reduced from 3 to 2. So sort of the reverse of the Greyhound. So does this basically mean that the shot is going to deal damage to 2 units instead of 3 now? That's fine. That doesn't seem like that big of a deal considering how fast this thing shoots. It's different from the Greyhound, which takes 1 shot, has to reload, take another shot. This thing is firing a burst of shots. So I don't feel like this is like that big of a change. Incremental accuracy bonus removed. I don't know how much of a change that's going to make to this. I felt like the issue with this was its resilience. It was just so sturdy. It had so much, the added health to models. This thing just stays alive and is so resilient. I feel like that was more of the problem than this specific issue, but I think the Flak 30 is extremely strong. If anyone has seen my gameplay with this thing, it's pretty ridiculous. Kettenkrad, this thing should deserve a nerf, to be honest. This thing is insane. Communication cable sight range now properly affects all resource points. Okay. Decapture rate from communication cables removed. No longer gains bonus sight range from veterancy. But this thing still is capping insanely fast. I still think that, yeah, so this is a good nerf to the Kettenkrad. It's definitely weaker overall, but it's still very strong. Now it probably affects all resource points. Okay. So the decapture rate from the communication cable is removed. So it's not, so it's going to cap just as fast as it has, but it's going to decap a little bit slower. So it's not going to have that plus, so if I'm reading this right, it's not going to have that plus 33% decap rate. I think that's correct, but it will have a plus 33% cap rate. Interesting. I don't know if that's enough, but Kettenkrad, insane unit, probably still will be an insane unit, even for its camo. Like its camo and plus 7 vision is in itself so ridiculously strong. I love this unit, and I think it will still be viable. Okay, DAC. Oh, this should be interesting. Axis 8 Rad armored car. So they put Axis here. Does that mean both Wehrmacht and DAC or what? Because they're both Axis. Main gun area of effect model recap reduced from 3 to 2. Okay, we've seen this is sort of like a pretty common theme around, among all units. Receives plus 50% damage bonus to coaxial machine gun rather than plus 100% from armored support battle group superior fire drills. Oh, damn. So this thing was getting plus 100%. I didn't know that. That's insane. And it kind of explains why it's so strong. But now it's receiving plus 50 instead. This thing deserved a nerf, of course. I think this goes without saying. The 8-rad is ridiculously strong. Like, ridiculous. So I'm happy to see the 8-rad get nerfed. Panzer Grenadiers, Kar 98K cooldown multiplier at close range has been increased from 0.35 to 0.45. So if the cooldown multiplier at close range is increased, that means this unit is weaker at close range. Okay, this is interesting. So here's the thing, like Panzer Grenadiers will beat out infantry sections generally like in a 1-to-1 ratio, from my understanding. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's accurate. Now, when it comes to Panzer Grenadiers versus the US Riflemen, it gets a little more tricky. And Relic is balancing these things purely based on data, I would say. I don't know. I mean, that's just my opinion, but here's why it gets a little tricky. The Panzer Grenadier, I think, was beating the Rifleman at close range, 1-to-1, I think. Or it was 1-to-1, the Panzer Grenadier was winning. And I think that can be problematic, but here's the thing. US players generally will build 4 to 5 riflemen in the early stage of the game, right? So they have 4 to 5 squads that they're leveraging against the DAC player. Now, the DAC player is not building 4 to 5 Panzer Grenadiers. It's generally 2 to 3, and oftentimes it's only 2 with mini builds. So you have this weird thing is if you make the Panzer Grenadiers weaker than the riflemen, well, you just get overwhelmed by the riflemen because there's just more of them, right? But if you make, and here's the thing too, the DAC has this manpower economy that's much different from the riflemen, right? So for a DAC player to build 4 to 5 Panzer Grenadiers, it's extremely taxing on your economy because of the manpower costs. So the dynamic has to be taken into consideration. And I feel like, I don't know. I have to play test this. I have to look at it. I have to really understand the data more. I would assume that, you know, DevM and the team at Relic understand this pretty well and are already looking into it. And this could be a change for next month's expansion with bigger implications and changes. We don't know. But yeah, so you have this dynamic where the Panzer Grenadier at close range, fine. It's not as strong, but I don't like to see the Panzer Grenadier nerfed too hard because you just don't have as much of them in a game with the economy. So I hope that makes sense. I'll be very curious to see. And another thing, guys, about this is keep in mind that this first year of balance, you know, the game hasn't even been out for a year. It's been out since the end of February of 2023. Relic is still gathering a lot of data to try and figure out what is optimal. And you've already seen them make changes and revert changes on a monthly basis, which I think is good. They're gathering data. They're getting smarter. They're getting a better idea of exactly what works and what doesn't. And I'm all for them experimenting and trying things. Now, I'm also a bigger advocate of them buffing things to balance rather than just like destroying units and making them obsolete. But they've done a pretty good job overall of that so far. I know I'll probably get a lot of hate for saying that, but I think Relic is doing a good job. Okay, Panzer Jaegers. Manpower cost increased from 250 to 275. I'm happy to see that. I thought 250 was a little bit cheap. I don't like to see tons of these units all over the map, but I'm happy to see these units as an availability, as an option from the HQ. If you need to, hurry some anti-tank, or you want to rely on, mobile anti-tank, functional AT that can also cap, I think Panzer Jaegers are a nice little addition in the HQ. So that's fine. I like to see these things get a little bit of a nerf. They are a little strong right now. Tear gas shot now requires Vet 1. That's fine. Tear gas shot duration reduced from 10 to 3. Ooh, that's big. That's 7 seconds. I don't know if 7 seconds is ideal. Maybe 10 to 5. That's pretty heavy. But that's interesting. I like abilities being unlocked in vets and veterancies, so like Vet 1. It gives you more interaction. Overall, I like that. Veteran leaders, manpower cost increase from 200 to 250. So this is the ability for Dak that allows your Panzer Grenadier squad to go from 5-man to 6-man. So essentially, this is increasing the cost of that. So more to my point, the manpower requirements for Dak are higher, right? And you're even seeing that here. They're keeping with that theme. No longer automatically reinforces Panzer Grenadier squads upon completion. Oh, wow. So this is another pretty hefty nerf to P-Grens. So normally the Panzer Grenadiers, even if they were on the front line engaging your opponent, and you in this upgrade veteran leaders, if it completed, the squad on the front line without being back at base or near a reinforcing half track would just get upgraded from 5 to 6-man. So this no longer is a thing. You have to actually reinforce them through a med truck or back at base, which I think is a good change. I thought it was weird that they would just get buffed no matter where they were, you know? So that's fine, but it's another nerf to Panzer Grenadiers. So you have this nerf, and then this nerf to Panzer Grenadiers. I'm really, really curious to see how they perform for the reasons we talked about, but I'm also looking forward to next month because I have a feeling that it's based on some bigger changes. Okay, Flak 36 anti-tank gun team. This is the Flak 88, I believe. Armor when decrewed reduced from 100 to 70. Standardized with other team weapons. Okay. Reload speed increased from 2.5 to 2.8. Reload time increased by 15%. So a bit of a nerf. I wonder if this has to do with AA. But we'd have to take a look at that. Okay, and then relatively small hotfix, but some good changes in here. Bug fixes. 250 half track. Heal ability is no longer hidden under the smoke discharger's ability. Oh yeah, I noticed that. At first I thought they changed it, but it was a bug. Axis loiters now have their health at their correct value of 1800 instead of 280. Ooh, wow, that's a huge bug. Jeez. Axis Tigers veterancy requirements now require 25% more XP to level. Okay, so that bug is kind of a nerf to Tigers. It's hilarious. Fix an issue where frame rate limit was locked to 30 frames on machines where lower CPU specifications or hardware were detected. Okay, and then right here they kind of messed this up. Dingo can now fire on the move. So they kind of hid that in there with the 30 frames per second. But interesting. So previously you had to be an absolute micro god to fire with the Dingo on the move. It was pretty difficult. It had to be like completely straight. But now that this thing can fire on the move is actually really good because you're going to be able to hunt down vehicles a little bit easier, you know, or straggling, retreating units. The 250 got that frontal armor buff in the last update, so the Dingo has kind of received a little bit of a nerf all around. But I like this change. This is a bug change, bug fix, almost like a balance fix, right? So I'm happy. I like the Dingo a lot. I'm happy to see that unit get some love. Fixed British supply surplus cache and infirmary upgrades being able to be built on top of existing supply caches. Oh, hilarious. I didn't actually know that. But one thing that I did notice about these infirmaries and these caches with like the British Air and Sea, if you build it on your teammate's point, so let's say your teammate caps a manpower point in the beginning of the game, and technically he capped it, so it's his color, or there's an indicator symbolizing that he's the one who capped it. If I built a medical infirmary or whatever on top of that manpower point that my teammate acquired, I noticed that I couldn't cancel it. I built it and I wanted to cancel it midway through, and I almost felt like it handed it over to him, like he had the jurisdiction over it because he capped the point. I don't know if that's still a problem. I don't know if that was just like one game or something. I don't know if you guys have noticed that, but I thought that was kind of odd. Fix an issue where the StugD's veterancy requirement was not set properly to 1,000, 3,000, 6,000. Okay. Fix the Weasel's signal layer ability not giving bonus resources. Oh yeah, I did know this. That's good. That's good to see. Using focused gunnery with the Vickers HMG no longer prevents group bandbox selection. Oh, okay. So this was actually happening with me with multiple MGs. I was actually playing and I was trying to hold shift and grab select, box select, or click select. Neither worked. My MGs together because I wanted to put them all in one control group, and I couldn't do it. And for the life of me, I could not figure out why. It was only in relation to MGs. So any other unit was working for me, but the MGs were not. So I wonder if this is fixed for multiple factions, because I was having this issue with I think 2 factions. But that's great to see. Finally, maybe I can play USF in 4v4 again. You got some allied guys complaining. Chaffee spam against Dak. Here we go again. Yeah, Chaffee got reverted. Chaffee should be back in a bigger way. There goes my 8-rad spam tactic gone. Sorry, buddy. I expect at least 2 new commander per thrace. Panjäger price increase is huge. LOL. Oh god, I love the comments, man. This guy cracks me up. Jiffy becomes peace. I can't even read this because this is just a crack up. Oh my god. It's too early to tell. I think it's fine. I think this update is good in the interim. We have 1 month before the expansion, and we're going to see a lot bigger reasons why they've been making all the changes they have up to this point, right? Because we see the immediate, we see the changes month to month or update to update. Relic is looking at a larger time frame, and they've probably been balancing everything leading up to this expansion, which is going to have big implications. And I think we're going to start 2024 off really strong. So guys, if you did enjoy this, go ahead and smash the like button, subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know. I'm really curious about something in particular. Not only your opinion on the update, but what you are going to be playing in this meta. What you're going to be trying in the first few days or maybe the first week. I'm really curious about that. Take the opportunity to experiment right now. Try some things, and go ahead and let me know what you think. So, guys, I hope you enjoy this new meta, and I'll see you on the next one.